Hey y'all, Blackfist of Red Blades here with a quick review for the video game Nuclear Throne. Released in 2015 by Vladbeer, Nuclear Throne is a top-down twin-stick shooter with roguelite levels. You play as a mutant on some quest for some reason through various stages to shoot up the place and get to the Nuclear Throne. I'll be frank with you, I have no idea why you're going through all the trouble of doing this, and the context clues at best are saying that there is some apocalyptic event wiping out humans and only the freaks are left. That being said, I like choosing the weird plant guy because he shoots a bramble that slows down the enemies and reminds me of a piranha plant. Each of these guys have their own unique perk to help with fighting through the hordes, but in the gameplay, it may not be Enter the Gungeon, but it definitely is just as addicting, to me at least. You start off with a pistol that has a limited amount of ammo and can pick up more weapons from red chests or random ammo from yellow chests. Though 3 out of 4 times it's going to be the ammo you need for your first or secondary weapon. You can only carry up to 2, but they do get an assortment during the gameplay that rely only on 5 types of ammo. There are regular bullets, shells, bolts, explosives, and energy. You can only hold a certain amount for each and double them with a perk. The guns they do give are rifles, crossbows, lasers, or lightning guns, shotguns, grenades, and bazookas. The further you traverse into the level, you get simple but wackier varieties of each of these things with triple barrel machine guns or hyper rifles, and then there are dual or triple barrel shotguns, or the bouncing shotgun. Next you have things called the splinter guns, which use the same bolt ammo as the crossbow and have a better spread as far as the shots, and I believe more damage. Personally, I like to use the auto slugger, firing a rapid 3 bursts of shells that can take out most enemies, and especially the tanky ones, towards the end of the game. The weird thing about those last 2 weapons is that the crossbows and splinter guns or anything that uses arrows basically has more kickback in it than the shotguns, and it'll give you a worse whiplash than Gwen Stacy. Each level begins and ends the same way. You explode in, clear the area of enemies, and collect the mutagen from the corpses or rad canisters, and then you teleport out. The rad actually is important as the nuclear status you gain allows you to unlock new perks after each round, each one having a different effect and use for you. The first level is a desert wasteland area with basic goons with rifles, giant worms, worm corpses that explode with even smaller worms, and then there are giant scorpions, and there are giant souped up scorpions that shoot a lot more bullets, that are sometimes harder to defeat than even the boss himself. And the boss is a bigger version of the gun goons that basically can charge through the walls, though the destructible walls are usually only done by explosives. And not to mention, there are also those burn barrels that if you shoot them, they explode around in a small radius, and they aren't your friend either. On occasion, the rad tanks also have an infestation of worms and have a swarm that are ready to break out, but because of that, they normally have double the rads for you to collect once they're all gone. Once you warp from there, you go into the sewers, which is a single level underground instead of being like the wasteland with 2 more levels. There are giant rats, explosive frogs, even giant rats that spawn giant rats, and sometimes crocs with shotguns, and a souped up croc with a flat cannon shotgun, which is like shooting a cannonball that explodes into shotgun shells. There are also gun mooks from the first level, and an introduction to the assassin and mimics. The neat trick about the frog dudes is that if you shoot a canister, which can also explode, right near them, it actually soups them up as well, and as they walk around they start shooting off green bullet as well, though the fumes are deadly for everyone else. There is a secret level where you get into a manhole cover and unlocked where you fight 4 different turtles that spin around and have different colors. I think I've only unlocked it once, but I haven't been able to do it again. Next is the junkyard level. There you will have 3 new enemies. The first is the crow guys who have SMGs and can fly to other areas of the map. Then there are the salamanders who have contact damage along with long jets of fire that go into waving arc and can force you into bottleneck situation. Finally, there are the snipers, robotic sharpshooters that can aim from afar but explode once death is dealt. And if you get too close to them, they'll take you out too. There are the other enemies as well as the assassins, mimics, and some of the gun mooks, but there's also a level where you get a crown of swords and a new enemy. The interdimensional police department arrive if you shoot a diamond-shaped portal. They are robots, but they do not explode on killing. The thing is about the junkyard is that it has plenty of cars to do all the explosions and fire jets that the enemies are immune to. So the greatest annoying thing to do is to have the crow guys fly all the way to the beginning of the level just so you can try and traverse past the flame jets just to kill them. And this is why I also like the shotguns. That and having the bouncing shell perk to keep the slugs going further and not losing damage string is a good combo. Then is the big bad of the junkyard, a three-headed mechanical dog surrounded by enemies. This is the part where strong weapons with both needed damage and a great amount of ammo is absolutely necessary. I haven't said it before, but the magazines go empty, then you are shit out of luck unless you have a melee weapon, and unless you can get to one of those yellow chests with the right ammo. Now, fighting Fido isn't hard aside from how easily it is to get swarmed by the missiles flying towards you and the reversing waves of bullets arcing to force you into a corner. But in the way, they are the slowest projectiles in the game next to the exploding scorpion. And this is why having corners is both your best friend and an option. Also, something to remember is that the assassins are melee only, and you do get an assortment of melee weapons which are infinite, but the levels get more explosive and enemies rush you like it's a football game. You don't want to get that close. Also, the melee can parry bullets, but at a fixed speed, and I don't feel like trying to parry a storm when I can only swing once every half a second. After wrecking the junkyard, you go into a crystal lair with spiders. No idea what that's about, but it's only one level, and you have what you would expect with spiders. There are some traversal obstacles around. The purple cave has webs on the floor, and surprisingly, nothing that is explosive. Instead, you have crystal spiders that run around and floating crystals that shoot lasers in 3 bursts. Then there are the usual grab bag of enemies such as the gun mook, the assassin, and on occasion the crocodile guys with shotgun, all bound inside the cocoons floating around. Then there are the mimic. I cannot stress this enough, but sluggers or heavy pistols of that variety are the best to deal with the crystals. They take a lot of damage just to kill. You also start getting some of the weirder super weapons, as I've said before. Whatever does the best crowd control is your best option. Now the next area is the frozen wasteland with patrolling Gatling platforms that take a lot of damage and maybe Ubisoft inspired. Then there are the wolf patrollers and robotic werewolves that rush at you. Then you have the golden variety of the platforms that also shoot missiles along with a faster rate for the machine gun. Also midgets that are dressed as Santa who hide in snowmen for some reason. I get the Santa motif, but it's still kind of weird. Another portal to a crown is there as well on the second level, and with that come the police. To be honest, I don't really care about the crowns and the portals. They come with extra perks that are supposed to help you to challenge whatever you're doing, but they're just like a side thing that honestly not really interested in. But you know, the variety is for everybody else who wants to. On the last stage of the frozen wasteland is the same kind of nonsense, but the big bad this time is actually a guy called Little Hunter. He has a jetpack that releases a circle of destruction and breaks walls and can do a lot of damage. He also shoots bouncer rounds that ricochet off of the walls and can summon other police units as well, which means that he's a mobber and just really annoying, especially when he follows you around the map by flying up, so he actually dodges any rounds that you shoot at him and lands right up next to you so you can be caught in the circle of destruction. I hate him because he's not really that strong and you're just more wasting bullets when you try to catch up to him, but in all honesty, when you're wasting that many rounds and you still have more mobs to go on, he can just go fuck off, him and the level he flew in on. After taking on the IDPD's hitman, the next area inside is some facility with mutants of some sort. There are exploding plants and fish head looking monsters. There are also spawners for said fish head monsters and taking enemies that have the fishman body given steroids. Then there are some odd Wizrobe looking enemies as well, but this is only for one level and becomes a simple area that can either waste bullets or give you better guns. The next area is a bit odd as it's more of a nuclear setting and has more energy beings that are waiting around to kill you. They're all green and have missing faces. One of them rushes at you like a bull, it's shaped like, and another is a giant man that releases green balls of energy that float about. While the last one is actually more of a genie-like being that releases a circle of projectiles that spread out from where he was. After another level of that, you face the nuclear throne and actually fight it, but you're supposed to destroy the generators on both sides of the map. There are about 4 in total, and get to the real boss. I've never gotten that far, and I've only managed to destroy one of them before I got taken out by a flying bullet, and honestly, it's still addicting to try and get back. Either way, I still give the game an 8 out of 10, and I say if you just want to go in, fuck shit up, and have fun, there's plenty of action there to do. So, this is Black Fists and Red Blades, signing out, saying have a good one, y'all.